he should not be doing that. Yeah, I mean, I guess I think if you well, it depends. So like he has to, I don't know what his rationale was for that, but I would say that those people should spend more time. Just like I think that the Democrats aren't stiff on crime. I think that, yeah, definitely, dude. If you're going to have people that are committing serious stuff like putting stun guns to people's necks, yeah, dude, they should have serious consequences. I agree with that 100%. You're not going to get me to say like, oh no, he should have been
I
let off.
agree. No, it depends is not an answer to my question.
Yes, dude. I just gave you my question. It should not be that he should not have been let out, dude. What am I saying? Does that mean that he's condoning everything that happened there that day? I don't know about that, dude. I don't think so.
Okay, so
But I do think.
So to clarify, you don't think pardoning crime is condoning it. So then would you say that the example I provided to you in terms of the candidate that pardoned pedophiles that rape children, do you think that's condoning their behavior? Because they could make the same argument from their position. Oh, they don't think they should have been in prison for that long, which is fucking crazy. They should be in prison for life.
Right, I agree. I think we should definitely do it more. Yeah, 100%.
So are they condoning the behavior by pardoning them?
Yeah, I mean, I would say so.
Okay, so just to clarify, Donald Trump, is he condoning the behavior by pardoning DJ Rodriguez, who drove a stun gun into the neck of a police officer?
Is he condoning the behavior? I would say, I mean, if you want me to say, yeah, he condoned it, if to make you happy so we can move forward, then to get your answer, yeah.
It's not just to move forward.
I want to know it's kind of like
you see how he does everything but genuinely answer the question?
No, but you're trying to like mix apples and oranges together to like you're trying
it's
to.
It's impossible to get him to answer a question, dude. I can't do it. This is so immature.
Like, you're acting like a child.
You're acting like a child.
I know. Thank you for that. Thanks for the next insult. So here's the question.
Oh, maybe he can finish now. It's crazy.
No. So look, yeah, now I can move forward. So like the thing is, you're saying that Donald Trump. So what you're saying is Donald Trump condones crime on a mass level because we have a guy here that put a stun gun in a police officer's neck and he let him out after 3 years. Therefore, the overall answer is Trump is soft on crime and doesn't go after criminals. That's the whole gist of this, right? That's your argument. So like, that's what you're trying to push, right? Well, if you believe that, why does Trump do this if he does that? So I'm like saying, okay, so what you're saying is Trump is not stiff enough on crime and he should be, and he should put that guy away for like 10 years. And then he can start cracking down on the crime that the Democrats have softened in DC that made their city hell. That's what you're saying, right? I just agreed with you.
No, he shouldn't be saying anything. The fact that I've had to go over this and explain it to you so many times without you understanding is actually insane.
No, I just agreed.
Diabolical.
He condones. Okay, so I'm agreeing.
So then,
let's say I say so. Then he condones crime.
No, not. You know what's annoying is that you're not actually saying that. You're just saying it so that we can move on.
No,
really
I'm saying
annoying because I'm trying to actually tell me your position.
Okay, my position is this, dude. My position is I don't take one-off cases. Which I agree. Like, Trump has done a million things that I don't like. Dude. Trust me, dude. I don't even consider myself MAGA. I would consider myself conservative, and I agree with a lot of Trump's stances.
MAGA, stop distancing yourself.
Okay. Anyway, I don't take one-off cases as being an absolute to the big picture, right? And that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to say is because Trump.
There's no way he's making this argument.
I am making it.
What was your first argument when you came on this live stream?
That the people in DC, that you should believe the people in DC over the polls. That you're trying to say. There's no way you laugh like that in person, dude.
No, because people in my real life in person don't say such ridiculous shit. How did you not realize that you just argued against yourself? I can't even do it, dude. I can't even do it. He couldn't even realize. He was just arguing against himself. By the way, I'm not even giving a one-off. All I'm trying to demonstrate.
Let me ask you a question.
Let me explain what I'm trying to demonstrate again. Let me explain what I'm trying to demonstrate. Is that Donald Trump incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol because he condoned the violence that happened. Okay?
No, he didn't. Yeah, he said it was a protest, and he said protest peacefully.
So again, him pardoning the violent rioters is condoning them, or isn't condoning them? You think it's
he went on all social platforms and told them to go home.
Wait, do you think he condemned the violence on January 6th?
I think that he told everybody to go home on all the social platforms. Yeah.
So you think he condemned the violence on January 6th?
Yes. In fact, on one of the posts, he said that in fact, he did a live video that said, if you were one of those, he said, if you were one of those. So to clarify,
and that's exactly why he pardoned the violent rioters on January 6th. You can condone.
You just asked me a question. Why are you laughing like crazy?
Because you're saying that you can condemn the violence while also pardoning the violence. That's like someone saying that a candidate who pardoned pedophiles that rape children also condemns pedophilia. Do you realize how ridiculous that is?
I think it's ridiculous that Democrats are all hardcore on J6, but ignore the 2020 riots that killed over 25 people and destroyed cities and set up autonomous zones and took over police stations and firebombed federal buildings. Yeah, I think that you have not ever talked against those people. I would challenge you to ever show me one video where you went up and you challenged those people and you said that that was out of line. I bet you never have, and you sit here and try to defend it and try to push towards J6 so people won't even talk about that. It wasn't even on the same level. You know why? Because after J6, you know what those people did? They went home. You know what the people in 2020 did? They did it all summer, and they were provoked by Democrats taking knees. They were provoked by Democrat mayors that would not arrest people, that allowed them to set up autonomous zones. That's what happened, dude. So you're trying to sit here and talk about apples and oranges, dude. But the reality is you won't even condemn your own people, dude. You think that that's normal. And you've sat here and tried to defend Harris for what she did when she was trying to bail people out and provoke them to keep going. You think that's normal and that's okay. But what Trump said when he said, go protest peacefully, oh, all of a sudden he's an insurrectionist. And then after J6, he went and told everybody, you're not part of MAGA. If you're out there creating, we are a party of law and order, go home. And they all went home, dude. That day, the next day, there was not J6 protesters. That's why it's J6 and not J6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, dude, because they went home. And they, you know what? They walked out, dude. Go look at how they were taken out. They weren't forcefully moved out like the Democrats had to be. These people walked out on their own, like it was some kind of a tour of the Capitol, dude. So you're disingenuous, dude. I mean, come on. I mean, and I didn't even come to talk about that. I asked you specifically about the people in DC because these people here that are showing up probably didn't see our first video where I said, you have hundreds of videos.
Can I respond to some of those points? You made a million points.
Sure, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So I do condemn violent riots. I condemn anyone who engaged in violence. I support peaceful protests. I support only peaceful protests, right? I don't support violence in the U.S., right? Specifically for political movements. I don't think that we need it in the U.S. for political movements. Now, in terms of that, I can easily say that. I've been saying that for years. You can't say that because Donald Trump literally pardoned violent rioters on January 6th who beat cops. You're saying not only is he condemning the violence, but he also pardoned it, which is absurd. Again, you're like saying a candidate who pardoned cannibals that ate people, right? You're saying that him pardoning them is also consistent with him condemning cannibalism. Like, that would be nuts. Then you also tried to act like it was a quote-unquote tour of the Capitol, when again, there were over 100 people specifically that violently assaulted police officers and committed violence on January 6th. There were police officers that died because they self-unalived due to the threats that they were receiving and to the harm that they had specifically.
There's no proof of that.
There's
no proof of that.
That they unalived themselves?
Yeah, there's no proof that they did it because of the J6 protesters, dude. There's just that's a reach. There's no data that points.
Wait, what do you mean data? Like there is. They did it right after. They did
why
it
would
after.
why would they unalive themselves?
Because of everything they went through and because of all the people specifically that were harassing.
So why weren't the officers at the 2020 riots, which lasted all?
You tell me, why did they unalive themselves?
Yeah, because people protested at the Capitol, and then they're going to go unalive themselves because of a protest that happened at the Capitol.
You tell me. Why do you think that they unalived themselves?
Who knows? Maybe they had issues before. Possibly. Anybody that unalives themselves has some issues, right?
Was there any evidence of any other issues that they had in their life that they were dealing with?
I don't know. I don't know their stories.
Wait, so then why did you ask for evidence from me specifically in relation to demonstrating whether or not can I please finish? Whether or not that specifically led to this happening when it happened right after, when it is the case that you have no evidence that any other thing specifically led to this happening.
Right, and you have no evidence that proves that they did it strictly. There was no letters that said, I did this because of those conservatives that went into the Capitol. I decided to unalive myself. That is ridiculous on every level. And I'm not saying that I feel bad for those people. They obviously had other things going on in their life. But at the end of the day, you trying to group them in for your political purpose is ridiculous, dude. So you can get some points that actually people lost their lives when actually 25 people lost their lives in the Democrat riots.
Did I not have, again, you say Democrat riots. Have I condemned the violence?
Of the Democrat riots?
Have I condemned it?
Yeah, and I condemn the ones at J6. I told you, the people at J6, they should have, the violent people should be there. So why are we even arguing about that? But that doesn't, see, here's the thing, is we probably have some mutual ground here, but the thing is you want to pin me on it, and you don't want to accept me pinning you, right? So you agree that those people that did violent stuff in the 2020 riots, whether that means taking over police stations or firebombing, federal buildings or setting up autonomous zones, those people should have long jail sentences. You believe that, right?
I think people should be held accountable for committing violent crimes in any scenario in which they commit violent crime.
Right.
And I think that people who support candidates in which pardoned violent rioters are condoning that behavior. And I think that you specifically sitting here and you're saying that Donald Trump is condemning the behavior that they engaged in while also pardoning them is ridiculous. If it was the case that he wanted to end their sentence, he would have commuted their sentence. He didn't commute their sentence. He pardoned their sentence, which removes all charges or all determinations of crime. You are sitting there and you are denying reality. Don't ask me a question instead of just acknowledging what I said, please.
No, I'm acknowledging what you said. So here's what I said. After what happened at the Capitol, Donald Trump made statements. Go home. You're not part of MAGA. He said protest peacefully going in. He asked for support going in. Harris, who you voted for, went on Colbert while all this stuff was going on and said those people should not stop. You can go watch it on YouTube. It's plain and day. She said those people should not stop. She said that, dude. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but she said it in those words that
She never said violent rioters should continue on.
She says they're protesting what they believe and they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop and they shouldn't. That's exactly what she said. You can go watch on Colbert.
She didn't say that about violent rioters. She's talking about peaceful protesters.
Right, exactly. Peaceful protesters.
I think that Donald Trump would have plausible deniability about the peaceful protest comment if it was the case that he didn't pardon the violent rioters. The reason why I don't accept the peaceful protest comment is because it is the case that it contradicts him pardoning the violent rioters. That's why. So do you understand the argument that I'm providing? I'm not saying that he didn't say peaceful. What I'm saying is that that is contradicted by him pardoning the violent rioters. But given that he didn't pardon the violent rioters, I actually believe that he had enough plausible deniability where I didn't make this point. So prior to him pardoning the violent rioters, you didn't see me running this argument.
I mean, I don't understand what we're arguing about here, dude. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, my personal belief is I think Harris encouraged protesters to keep going, and I think Trump didn't want what happened to happen. I think he asked for National Guard before. They denied him. Both Washington, D.C. and Nancy Pelosi denied him that. And I think they probably...
Can you repeat back what I just said, please?
No, I'm telling you, I don't want to keep doing this circle, dude. We do it over and over.
I don't want to keep doing this circle because I don't think that you even heard what I said. What did I just say?
Repeat it, dude. I'm like...
Are you serious? Are you serious? Can you repeat back anything I said in general?
No, here's the deal, dude. We've been doing this for like 20 minutes now, dude.
Because you're not listening to me, and I just proved it.
Okay, yeah, dude. I already get it, dude. You think that the Democrat or that Donald Trump condones violent behavior because of what he did, because he allowed these people to leave jail after 3 years, or however long they were in there, dude. Right? That's what you believe, or 4 years. It was almost 4 years, right? Because they went in on early January or at the end of January, and they were let out after his taking office, right? So we got 4 years in prison. You're upset that those people were pardoned after 4 years. I get it, dude. And you're thinking that condones violence.
Can I clarify again? Because you clearly didn't hear me. So I was saying I think that Donald Trump has enough plausible deniability if he didn't pardon the violent rioters and actually didn't run this argument prior to him pardoning the violent rioters because he had enough plausible deniability because he said that he wanted it to be peaceful. And I'm just saying that him saying he wanted it to be peaceful is contradicted by him pardoning the violent rioters because pardoning them condones the behavior. If he just wanted to get rid of their sentence because it was too long, he would have commuted the sentence. Biden commuted sentences of people. You can commute the sentence as a president. He would have done that if it was the case that he just wanted to end their sentences, but they should have just still had the charges and the sentence to that degree. He would have commuted.
Do you think that maybe he thought that the reason why he pardoned them is because a lot of their lives were destroyed and he felt like some of those people that were in there were political prisoners? Really? I mean, that's what he believed.
No, not violent rioters. So you can pardon the people who are in there who haven't committed violent crimes while also not pardoning the violent rioters. Did you know that's possible?
Yeah, of course I know that's possible.
So like, again, if you think that some people are there because they're quote unquote political prisoners, okay. That's not justifying him pardoning the violent rioters.
Right. Didn't we already agree that I said that those people shouldn't have been pardoned?
You agree with me that they shouldn't be pardoned, but that still demonstrates.
Right. And just like you agree that those people on the 2020 protests.
Can I demonstrate the point before you try to like not understand my point again? Is that fine? So I'm just demonstrating that Donald Trump pardoning him specifically indicates that he condones the behavior, which then means that he incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol. Okay?
Okay.
So then my question would just be, why do you support a candidate that incited a violent insurrection at the Capitol?
I support him because he makes things happen like Washington, D.C. And I see these happy people And I think that they deserve to have their city. And I think that Biden let that stuff go on. Biden let that, they empowered it by dropping all the penalties for criminals. And I think if you look at Washington, D.C., those people were basically held captive by criminals. And Donald Trump went in there and solved it. And now they're happy. And you won't acknowledge the fact that those people deserve to have their city. And maybe there is some, there's something real about what's happening there. You won't even look at that because you have such a distaste for Donald Trump that you can't look at anything positive that's happening and thinking like, well, maybe Democrats can do some of that stuff too. But you don't look at that. And that's why I originally called. Like, we're pivoting off to J6. Dude, I didn't call to talk about J6. That's a conversation for like last year. I called about to DC, but because you know that that's a hard argument to win, you had to pivot onto J6 and try to make some other things going. That's ridiculous, dude. I called to talk to you about an hour ago about DC, and you keep trying to pivot to other things.
I'm not pivoting.
You went to climate change. You went to climate change. You're
just a fucking idiot. And when you bring up things and when I try to compare them, you don't actually listen to the things that I'm saying or what I'm comparing about that. You just listen to the example. The example isn't just what's being compared. It's a basis or a part of the example that is comparable that I'm explaining and showing that is the same. For example, when you talk about violent crime in DC and how you want to reduce violent crime in DC, well then how can you say that while also simultaneously supporting the people who were pardoned by Donald Trump who caused violent crime in DC by inciting a violent insurrection at the Capitol? That's what I'm asking you. So if you don't understand the connotation of what I'm saying because you are not trying to understand me, you're going to come up on my live stream and you're going to act like I'm just trying to pivot. But that's clearly not me pivoting. That's clearly not
because
me
you have you have innocent civilians, people, like citizens of Washington, D.C. being held captive by criminals that have been empowered by Democrats. That's a big difference than protesters going in there, I hate to say this, and fighting law enforcement because they're not attacking civilians, dude. That's the difference. And you know what? That's the difference between the Democrat riots of 2020. The Democrats went in there and attacked civilians as well. So that's the difference. You want to talk about what the difference? Yeah.
So because they're attacking police officers, it's okay?
I'm telling you, they're not attacking citizens, and that's the problem.
They were, though. They were. Not only were they attacking civilians there at January 6th, but also police officers. So, again, you're just lying. You're lying. You said, and then you're talking about criminals being empowered by Dems. I just gave you an example of criminals actually being empowered by Donald Trump, and you can't give me an example of criminals being empowered by Democrats.
Dude, that's a one-off case.
Shut up. I'm trying to address all your points. You don't want to let me do it.
You're horrible. Dude, you're a super rude host, dude. Like, I don't know if you've ever, like, listened to your people. Like, I admit that you're one of the top Democrat, liberal.
I'm in the middle of explaining everything that I'm saying, and you're just proving that you're not listening to me. I'm rude for calling you out and for saying shut up on my own live stream where you're not letting me speak or not listening to what I'm saying. I'm giving you the ability to even be heard on my live stream. Okay? And I'm trying to respond to the arguments
you're making you money by getting
and you're not making me shit. You're not making me shit.
Yeah, you are, dude. You get likes and clicks. What are you talking about? So
you don't make me anything. You make me nothing. I had this all without you. You didn't do shit. Okay? Can I please address all the points without you fucking trying to talk about me making money? Like, Jesus Christ. Please, let me address this. I didn't even ever get to... I wrote down the stuff that you talked about because you kept saying things. I got to address one of the things you said, and then you cut me off, and I can't address the other things. So please, let me address it all. Is that fine? Thank you. Biden did not let that happen. The argument that Biden let that happen is ridiculous because then the same thing would be true for Trump letting it happen under his administration because he didn't federally take over the country. So that would be a ridiculous argument. And then I can look at things that are positive that happens under the Trump administration. I genuinely can. The increase the child tax credit, the increase the standard deduction, the no tax on tips up to $25,000, the deduction for tips, the deduction for overtime. I think that those are good aspects of bills that he's passed. We can point to different things. The AI deepfake one, we can point to plenty of things. Operation Warp Speed. I can acknowledge things that are good. The federal takeover of DC, I disagree with. So stop just trying to act like I am just disagreeing with it because I disagree with everything, because that's not true. I'm disagreeing it based upon reasons. You can go now. You can speak.
So are you saying that Biden, I'm just asking you this question, you think that Biden in no way was part of the DC crime bill? That's what you just said, right?
I don't think that Biden caused the DC crime bill, to my understanding. Do you have any evidence of that?
Okay, I just wondered if you thought that there was.
Do you have any evidence of that?
Well, I mean, they brought it up. The press secretary brought it up and had a whole announcement about it.
So can you give me any evidence that Biden caused this?
All right, here we go. Here's a basic question: was the Biden administration part of the DC crime bill? Yes, but in a roundabout way. I could read this whole thing, but I'm not going to.
So it wasn't. So Biden didn't specifically let that happen.
No, not directly,
any more than Trump let that happen. Apparently, Biden did help write one small part of the crime bill. I do see that. So I'll give you that to some degree, but.
But can't we just get back to the original thing? I mean, because I gotta leave. You want to talk about different stuff.
To pivot away from what I was saying.
No, but I'm just like, so we can leave on. I want to go back to our original thing. I want to leave so everybody understands your take and my take, and then we can leave.
No.
We can't have that
because you act like our takes are equal when you don't respond to my points.
Okay, my thing is, I'm talking about the DC. My point of view coming into this thing,
and I was talking about DC. I responded to the points about DC, and you never fully engaged with those points. Do you agree that Donald Trump himself inciting a violent insurrection at the Capitol is him causing violent crime?
Yeah, I'm talking about DC. I don't care about J6. What I'm saying is
that not in DC?
No. Listen what I'm saying.
What?
Oh God.
You think you think that wasn't in DC? He thinks the Capitol isn't in DC.
That's not what I said, dude. You know that's not what I said.
Is the Capitol in DC?
It has nothing to do. Listen to what I said.
Is the Capitol in DC?
Listen, that's not what I'm saying, dude.
Is the Capitol in DC? Yes or no? Is the Capitol in DC?
Yes, dude. Listen, that's not what I said. I said the J6.
That is what you said. I'll play it back.
No, it's not. I said J6
you want me to play it back?
No, I don't. Okay, let me rephrase what I said. J6 has nothing to do with what's happening in DC right now. Nothing. Okay, what I'm saying is
I never said it has something to do with what's happening in DC right now. What I said is that it's caused violent crime in DC, and you're okay with causing violent crime in DC.
So the J6 protesters caused all the killings and carjackings that's going on right now in DC.
No, I'm saying that Donald Trump caused
you just said
this by pardoning violent rioters.
Okay, so my thing is this, dude, is that we had back to our original point, and then I'm going to leave, is that I thought, and maybe I'm wrong, you have pointed the picture that I'm wrong, is that you're saying that I said that we should look at the people's videos, most from Black Americans, that are saying in wonder, walking around their city, feeling safe, saying that they can't believe what they're looking at. And you're saying that that is anecdotal and that should not be considered evidence because we need to look at the polls that have been done for the residents of Washington, D.C. that are anti-Trump, but we should look at those as real data of whether or not it was good to federalize that city, right? So that's just what I'm saying. That was my original thing coming in. You think that we should believe the data from the people, the polls that they've taken, and I'm thinking that we should look at the videos, and you're saying that those videos don't reflect what's really going on there. That's all, dude. So at that point, that's the argument. And once we lay that out, hold up. Once I lay that out, then your audience can make their own decision.
Okay. By the way, Santana, that's not the crime bill he was referencing. He's referencing a DC crime bill. So it's a different crime bill that he's referencing, by the way. Santana, just letting you know.
But look, I just want your audience to know because they can hear. This is how debate works. Now that everybody knows, they can hear your argument, right? Which is that, look, you can't just sit there and throw a couple of videos on TikTok, go watch them and think that's what happened. You have to look at what the Washington Post put out there in their polling. And that's what it is. And now at that point, your audience can go make their own decision. They can go look at the videos for themselves and say, yeah, I don't believe this at all. Or they can go to the Washington Post and look at their poll and say, yeah, I don't believe this at all. That's all it is, dude. You put your case out there, I put my case, and at the end of the day, people can make their...
Katrina, thank you so much for the $15. Thank you so much, Katrina. I really appreciate it. Brian, thank you for the $1. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Can we get some W's for Brian in the comment section? Christina, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Seriously, though, Christina, that's actually a W. They said that in Minneapolis that they triggered an investigation into MPD, and they found out that they... specifically, they were racially profiling, which caused a total overhaul of their training and system. So despite some being violent, they did create some change. That is one thing that they wanted to say. Michaela, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Laura, thank you for the $10. Jason with the $20. Thank you so much, Jason. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Katie with the $5. Elizabeth, thank you so much for the $2. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Jane with the $20. Thank you so much, Jane. I really appreciate it. Thank you. For my family are in D.C. Everyone there hates the occupation. D.C. is held captive now by a dictator. This guy can get pushed. I don't agree with him.
Dude, anyway, thanks for the time, dude. You may not agree with me. I don't agree with anything you say, but thanks. No,
don't run away. I want you to address.
No, I've got a business meeting I got to go to. But go ahead, real quick.
Sure.
No, go ahead. What do you want to say?
I wanted you to acknowledge that it is the case that he's condoning crime when it is the case that he pardoned violent rioters who beat police officers, and in the situation in which he's condoning that, it is the case that he was inciting a violent insurrection at the Capitol, and if he was inciting a violent insurrection at the Capitol, he caused crime in DC, meaning that like if you actually cared about reducing crime in DC, you wouldn't have supported Trump in the very first place, and the idea that you supported Trump in the very first place is is pro-crime.
I'll do that if you admit that those people walking around DC, pointing their phones everywhere, thinking how great their city is now, that we should actually take a listen and see what they have to say.
You should listen to them, sure. That doesn't mean you
Yeah, you
have to
should.
agree, and that also doesn't mean that they're the only
Here's,
people in
you're,
DC that have opinions. There's opinions
right.
of plenty of people in DC. A lot of people in DC have an issue with the current occupation that they have of the city.
You think those people want to see their city go back to where it was before?
There are plenty of people in DC that do not agree with the occupation. That's what I'm saying.
I just asked you a question though. You think that those people
Yes,
want to see the
they would prefer DC
sidewalks?
prior to
Oh
the
my God,
occupation.
dude. You want to see people using the city streets as bathrooms, and you want to see crime and needles everywhere, and you want to see people getting
By the way,
carjacked.
that's not what DC is. Like you arguing
Dude.
that this is DC across the board is ridiculous. Are you from DC?
No, but either are you.
So then how the hell are you
Yeah,
going to say
look,
that about
dude,
DC?
what?
Have you been to DC?
Yes,
Okay.
I did
So
they have an honor flight there. I went there and did.
you went there once.
I did a couple times. Done honor flights.
Okay.
You know what
So
honor flight is?
no, I don't.
Yeah, it's where you escort a veteran, and you take them up there and you show them you're their host through all the Washington D.C.
Why'd you feel the need to explain that?
Because I just didn't know. Because you asked me why I went there, so I'm not visiting my grandma there. I just want to tell you why I went. So I just asked you. Why is
Did I
that so
ask?
bad?
I didn't think I tried to ask you why you
Well, you
went
said,
there.
have you ever been to D.C.? Why would you ask me if I ever went to D.C.? What does it matter?
That's not me asking you why you went there. That's asking if you went
And so
there.
why would you ask why if I ever been there?
Because I was just making sure that you, like, I was just seeing. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
I
have
was
you
just
even
saying
ever
to you.
been to the place that you're saying, oh, it has these particular issues? That's
Yes,
all
I was just
arguing
saying. I
about.
same thing to you. I was just letting you know. I was just letting you know why I went. You asked me why I went, so I told you why I went.
I
You
didn't
didn't ask where I
ask
went.
you.
You said have I ever been
I
there, and I
didn't
told you why I
ask
went.
you why you went. I asked you if you went.
Right, and I told you why I went.
I didn't ask that.
Okay, cool. Well, now you know, so you can say like, well, your visit wasn't
No one
really.
asked. No one asked.
Okay. Anyway, anyway, people can make their own decision, dude. Good luck with your TikTok, dude. Anyway.
So insufferable. Oh my God, Michael, thank you so much for the $10. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. Josh, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. That was like horrible. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet this set of criteria on the screen, everyone. Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet this set of criteria on the screen. Yo, what's up? How old are you? All right, let's go on to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet the set of criteria on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates, everyone. Alrighty, let's go on to the next individual. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet the set of criteria on the screen. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, everybody. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria on the screen, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you? Let's go to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet the set of criteria on the screen, everyone. We are just looking for some debates. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 44. How
Do you
are you,
support Donald
Parker?
Trump?
Yes, sir.
Why so?
Because honestly, I live in Philadelphia. Have you ever been to Philadelphia, Parker?
Nope.
You should visit it. You should visit. You really should.
Okay.
I can't wait for Trump to bring the feds into Philadelphia, to be quite honest, and clean it the hell up. Just like he's cleaning D.C. up. It needs to be done in a lot of cities. It's unfortunate that he has to bring it to this.
Can I ask you a question? Why did DC need to be federally taken over?
Because it's already under federal law. What are you talking about?
So you're just because you know that a lot of cities are under federal law. What's your point?
It literally is the headquarters for the government, basically. You know what I mean? Like, that's where they set up shop. That's DC. It's DC, bro.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that it needed to be federalized.
I get it. Maybe he's doing a little too extreme, but our cities, you have to admit, our cities aren't exactly.
Wait, hold up. Apparently, you called me a grifter in one of your posts.
Oh yeah, you absolutely are.
Okay, what makes you think that?
It's apparent, dude. You don't gotta be a rocket scientist.
Thank you, Josh, with the $10. Thank you, Josh. I really appreciate it.
You're an insufferable punk kid. You don't even go outside anymore and interview Trump supporters. You're scared to go outside. Literally scared to death because of all the projection and hate that you've already put on your fucking lives.
I didn't go outside and debate Trump supporters much in person, but I actually am going to be debating a bunch of Trump supporters in person coming soon. So
yeah, good luck.
So why are you so triggered? You're triggered. You said that I'm a grifter. You said that I'm a grifter. You're so triggered. Why are you mad? Cameron, thank you for the $2 for the grift. Thank you so much.
I just like rage baiting like you.
You're the one that seems raged out.
I want to see you set a flag on fire. Why don't you set a fucking American flag on fire? Do that, Parker. Let me see some real balls. Go ahead, set it on fire. Just like you instigate Trump supporters to do the Yahtzee salute, right? Why don't you set a flag on fire and stand on fucking business, boy?
Thank you.
Stand on business, boy. Stop being a pussy.
Were you mad? He ran away. And he was trying to rage bait me. It looks like he rage baited himself, dude. That's diabolical. A diabolical take right there. Only send a guest request if you meet the set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. Thank you so much for pushing the crown. Thank you for the hand heart. Thank you. Thank you. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18, bro.
Libby, thank you for the $15 for the grifting is good. Thank you so much. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
I'm 18, bro.
18, what's your birth year?
August 24th.
What month?
2006.
Or I said what month, I meant what year. Yeah, you're right.
2006,
August 24th, you'd be 19, right?
The problem with you Kamala Harris supporters.
Kamala?
I don't give a damn.
Did you say you were 18?
Yes, bro.
Well, nice MAGA math you got there. Nice MAGA math. Yo, what's up? How old are you?
Hi, 41.
And do you support Donald Trump?
I do.
And why is that?
So one of my main things was I'm really concerned about the financial security for my children and grandchildren in the future. So really, I'm just concerned about the budget deficit, to be honest.
Okay, so did you know that Trump signed off on more debt-related spending?
Yeah, does that go into the budget deficit?
Yeah, so Donald Trump, according to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, which is a nonpartisan committee from the federal government, indicated that Trump signed off on $4 trillion more debt-related spending under his first administration, and his campaign plans for the next administration will do $4 trillion more than Harris's campaign plans, according again to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, a nonpartisan committee from the federal government. And we can also point to the $3.4 trillion that Trump added through the Big Beautiful Bill to the debt.
The 3.4 trillion being added is inaccurate.
That was from the Congressional Budget Office. That's not inaccurate.
Well, it was inaccurate. It's inaccurate today. They revised it recently.
Okay, so what was the revision? I must not have seen that.
4 trillion budget to wipe off the budget in the next 10 years.
Can you give me the title on that? You said it reduces the deficit?
By 4 trillion. Yeah, the CBO was the one they just put a statement out last Friday.
Yeah, tell
Good
me the
old
title.
summer Friday.
Tell me the title.
I don't know the title off the top of my hand, and I can't swipe out. It's from the CBO.
Indicates BBB saves 4 trillion.
Yeah, that probably kick it up on Google, I'd say.
Nope. Not a thing. You just
Okay,
made that
so
up.
CBO revision. Try CBO revision for the big beautiful bill, and then filter your results by the date that it was released. If you're having like a filtration
CBO
problem.
revision
For the big beautiful bill.
Okay, yeah, July 21st, 2025.
It was more recent than that.
There isn't any.
They released
recent.
it last. They released it on a Friday. I could swipe. I mean, I can swipe it. The thing is, I can't find it. If I swipe out,
you can go find it and then come back and tell me the title.
So if I open my app back up, I'll just be here, kind of like chilling. I just need to unmute or whatever.
Yeah, when you swipe out, I won't be able to hear you. But once you come back into the app, I will be able to hear you. Just make sure every like 1.5 minutes or so, you come back till you can see me, because otherwise it will kick you out.
I don't think it'll take that long. Okay, right on.
For sure.
For sure. Appreciate it.
Go ahead. Give him a second, everyone, while he finds this information real quick. Do tap that screen if you're here on TikTok. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up. It'll help get it out to more people, everyone. It'll help get it out to more people. Amanda, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Can we get some W's for Amanda in the comment section right now? W's for Amanda. Thank you. Thank you. If you want to get and support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, link tree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube. As well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat. But also, I put the Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal as my pinned comment on YouTube as well. What's title? Matt says he found it and that there's a title, but he'll send it to me in a second. Alan, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $10. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alan. Ben, DC and Philadelphia, they have same issues as other cities, including red cities. Most DC crime is at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm guessing that's the White House, isn't it? Alrighty, do give it a second, everyone. An update. Santana just sent it to me. From August 22nd, 2025. Is that it? Was that what you're talking about? I found it. It's an update about the CBO's projection on the budget of.
Can you hear me again?
Are you talking about tariffs will decrease the debt?
No, I'm talking about the deficit in general. I was just simply saying that the reason that I voted for him.
Okay, so what you're saying is the tariffs will.
I'm saying that I voted for him to lower the deficit. Is what I'm saying.
Hey, I get you. The analysis that I had about the big beautiful bill wasn't wrong. You're just saying that there's a different analysis.
It's updated, correct? They didn't factor in the tariffs, correct?
Tariffs are not in the big beautiful bill. And in the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget's analysis of Harris versus Trump's campaign plans, they take into account tariffs. So that was already taken into account. This is about $400 billion.
Yes, but we're getting away from what my position is. My position simply is I voted for Trump to lower the deficit, and from the most current information that we have, he's going to lower it by $4 trillion over the next 10 years. That's all I'm saying.
That's only taking into account one thing. That's not his overall policy. That's only taking into account tariffs. If you look at the committee,
that's just taking into account that the deficit drops. Deficit is going to be $4 trillion cheaper, and that's the main driving reason for my children and grandchildren.
Which is $400 billion a year, okay? Which is specifically from tariff revenue, okay? And I understand you're saying tariff revenue comes in, you're going to have less debt. What I'm telling you though is that if you look at the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, they made an analysis of the campaign plans for Harris and Trump, and they took into account the revenue that would come in from tariffs in the amount that Trump would cause in terms of debt-related spending.
Uh, sure. I mean, if to go back in time on campaign outlines versus what's been laid out into structurally into a bill and what is now law and being implemented. Yes, I get what you're saying. They're two distinctly different things. I'm just simply saying the reason I voted for the man, why I support him, and my evidence to back up what I'm saying as to why I support him.
Okay. I also just want to let you know tariffs are paid by Americans. So that's going to be taken from the economy in America. So if
How
what
much?
you're doing is you're
What
shifting,
percentage?
if what you're doing is you're shifting the tax burden from income tax through the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act by decreasing income tax, and you're replacing it with tariffs, what you're doing is you're shifting the burden of taxation from people who are higher income to people who are lower income, because people who are lower income specifically spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer products. And if they spend a greater proportion of income on consumer products, well, then it's going to be the case that they then are going to be paying a greater percentage in their income comparative to people who are rich, specifically on
Are you making an
increase in
argument for
taxation.
cost increases or for the the budget of the country? I'm not understanding. I get what you're trying to do. I'm just simply laying out something that I felt
You didn't listen
like.
to what I said. Can you repeat back what I just said?
I
at
did.
all? Like the general concept?
Of the hypothetical that you just laid out of price increases for people. The premise of what you're trying to say is that you're trying to undercut the fact that I'm right, and you're trying to find an argument around and find another little thing to say, yeah, but what about this? But it's going to cause this. I'm simply saying my concern was the deficit to go down. I gave you the source citing the proof of what I think is coming, right? The deficit coming down, and so that's the proof to the claim to the reason that I supported him. I'm not really interested in bouncing off into other areas of whatever, if you you'll beat me at that, but you're not going to beat me at this.
I've already beat you. You didn't actually re-say what I said at all. Would you like me to play back?
Oh, I'm sorry. So what is okay? Go ahead.
For sure.
Okay, go ahead. Yep. Dude, I'm just simply
revenue comes in, you're gonna have less debt. What I'm telling you, sorry, it's loading. People who are lower income, specifically spending, is you're shifting the burden of taxation from people who are higher income to people who are lower income. If what you're doing is you're shifting the tax burden from income tax through the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act by decreasing income tax, and you're replacing it with tariffs, what you're doing is you're shifting the burden of taxation from people who are higher income to people who are lower income, because people who are lower income specifically spend a greater proportion of their income on consumer products. And if they spend a greater proportion of income on consumer products, well, then it's going to be the case that they then are going to be paying a greater percentage in their income comparative to people who are rich, specifically on.
Are you making an argument for cost increases?
Did you hear what I said then?
Yeah, I heard every word that you said. I'm just trying to figure out in your mind how that you're making the link to the claim that I'm saying that the big beautiful bill is reducing our budget by $4 trillion. Like you're saying, from what I'm gathering, you're trying to say how the money's shifting around and how the ends is how the means is just making the ends happen, but you're just simply trying to find a way around what I've originally stated and get me caught up in explaining things that you probably have more knowledge on or whatever you want to say. But I get what you're trying to do. I'm just not as well spoken as you.
What I'm saying is that it shifts the burden of taxation. Income tax is progressive, meaning people who are higher income spend a greater proportion of their income on that type of taxation, right, when they are paying the tax. So do you want revenue from taxation to come from people who are disproportionately rich or disproportionately from people who are lower income?
So I don't have a preference on where revenue comes from, as
What?
long as the revenue is a cheap. Okay, let me ask you this. Is the big beautiful bill, as you understand today and what you've been, updated on, is it going to reduce the deficit of this country?
No, it will increase the debt.
So the CBO is that you relied on to say so much that it was going to increase by 3.4 trillion. You're not going to say now that our deficit is going to be increased by we're going to pay off basically 4 trillion more than what instead of adding 2.
Again, you're just looking at tariffs, right? What you're not looking at is the big.
I'm looking at
bill.
just
the
the
big
deficit.
beautiful bill is separate from tariffs. And if you're looking at the overall effect that's going to affect the debt, then what you have to do is you have to look at what's it called? You have to, in terms of the debt, you have to look at my brain. You have to look at the Congressional Budget Office, not Congressional Budget Office, Committee for Responsible Federal Budget Analysis, like I already mentioned to you, that compares the different campaign plans from Harris and Trump.
So your statement, as you are here today, and you've seen that what you've read from, little. I granted you've had little time to read it. Your claim is that we are not going to decrease the federal deficit of this country over the next 10 years for whatever reason, whatever mechanism caused that to happen. The Trump administration is not going to reduce the federal budget over the next 10 years by $4 trillion. Is that your claim?
The tariffs will. The committee for
the Trump administration. I don't. Yeah, let's. I'm not saying tariffs. It's a multi-pronged. Let me ask the question: is the Trump administration going to reduce our deficit by $4 trillion over the next 10 years?
No.
Do you have
talking
sources
from a
for
net
that?
basis? Yes, the Committee for Responsible Federal Budgets Analysis. I've said this multiple times. Are you listening?
Was that? Yeah. So what's the difference between that and the CBO?
They're different committees. The CBO
So which one would you trust more?
I'm not saying I trust one more than the other. The CBO doesn't disagree with the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, by the way. But CBO,
they made has the
you're gonna make me go insane.
Updated their original. I apologize. I'll be quiet. I'm so sorry.
I've responded. I've said the same thing like 8 times, dude. I don't know how many more times I can say it.
But you haven't.
That's just tariffs.
I've already told you. I know what you're saying. I know where the money's coming from. You're trying to get me back to a foundational level of the claim, like I don't understand. I've already acknowledged long before. You obviously repeating yourself. So let me repeat myself again. I know where the money's coming from. It's coming from tariffs. That is affecting the budget deficit. I know that's where that money's coming from.
Yeah, but that's not going to be the net effect on the budget deficit. The tariff, that's just the revenue specifically from tariffs.
So what does the CBO state then? So are you trying to say then that the $4 trillion actually just negates the 3.4 negative side? So now it's only actually a 0.6 billion to the positive side. Is that the math you're trying to?
If you're only taking into account those two, what you have to do is look at the overall effect of what the administration is going to be.
Has that other committee that you're referencing, have they revised their numbers with the new numbers that's come in from the numbers from tariffs and the money that the country's receiving? Or are we going off old numbers of not counting for a revenue that's coming in?
Well, they would be projecting greater level of tariff revenue.
So they did project the accurate numbers? I'm just trying to see if the CBO and this other one that you're quoting would be at odds.
Dude,
take a breath, man. It's cool. You're talking to somebody that's trying to talk to you that's on the opposite side. Just chill out. I'm not calling names. I'm being pretty respectful. I apologize for interrupting so much and stuff. I have a problem with doing that.
It's not the interruption. It's the not understanding at all. It's like you're.
Can you steel man my argument? Steel man my argument for me real quick. Tell me what you think I'm arguing.
Yeah, you think that you're arguing specifically that there's going to be a $4 trillion decrease in the budget deficits over the next 10 years? Right, due to Trump's policy overall.
Close enough. I'd say Trump administration, but yeah, the policy word I don't like because that connotates a specific, if policy can include tariff and, congressional bills and things like that as a whole. I just generally mean that the Trump administration, and we have our first indicator that was revised from the CBO that points in that direction. So I'm trying to lean on that evidence.
Okay, so if you take into account both of them, the Congressional Budget Office, the $3.4 trillion added to the debt over the next 10 years, the context of the big beautiful bill, and then the $4 trillion through the tariffs, that would be it's not $4 trillion taking into account what the big beautiful bill adds. It's $4 trillion just in terms of the tariff revenue. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So if you want to look at the overall effect of what the budget deficit is going to be impacted by due to Donald Trump's policy, you have to look at the overall effect of what his estimated policies are going to cause, which is exactly why I'm referencing the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget. And you can make a set determination, say, if it was the case that they had a difference in the tariff revenue established through the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, that you can then put in the new numbers. But it is the case that they actually are estimating more revenue, right? Because there were greater tariffs that Trump was advocating for originally.
as well. the same number that the CBO increased by is what the other committee, they have adjusted, their numbers are set at that as well? Because you might be right here in that.
I'm sorry, it's like he doesn't listen to me. I said it would be more because they expected more in terms of revenues.
What I'm failing to understand of what you're trying to tell me here is where does that $4 trillion that's collected, okay, where's that going to go and what's that going to do? Collected from tariffs.
So wait, say that again. Sorry.
Where's the $4 trillion over the next 10 years collected from tariffs? Estimated, could be higher, could be lower. Where is it going to go over the next 10 years? Where does that money go?
The tariff revenue?
Yes.
That would to reduce the deficit.
Okay. So where is a higher than 4 trillion over the next 10-year number increase to offset? Maybe we could start, maybe since I'm not an economic major, we could start from a bare bones level. There's a 4 trillion number. Where's the number that you're saying is going to offset that to where it's going to put us into a deficit?
Offset, it's going to put us into a deficit. Of like other policies, what other policies will he engage in? Is that what you're asking?
Yes. Like, where are you getting the basis of your numbers?
Yeah,
because we're combining two reports, and it's a little hard to do that if the numbers aren't the same for what they project the tariffs to be. In my humble opinion of not being a math major, that's how I would assume doing simple back of the hand math.
That's
trying to
fine.
Work through.
There's the big beautiful bill is the one he specifically passed so far. Mass deportation specifically that will cost money. There is specifically modernizing military, increasing military, different budget bills specifically. That will increase how much, because they had like specifically under the first administration, they had different types of bills they did specifically after 2 years and after years later. They have different bills that come later on. So that's why I'm referencing the overall effect through the context of the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, which takes into account these different policy proposals. And if you want to look at the tariffs, it actually has a very similar revenue projected. So not much of a distinction in terms of what the established numbers would be. There's still significantly more debt for Trump than Harris.
Right on. And I'll have to go back and look at that source myself. I was unaware of there was a competing not necessarily competing, but it sounds like I can't imagine the CBO and another organization doing the exact same report. So they probably pull some of the same data, touch on the same things. I'll have to go back through and kind of do some simple math and look, but so how are you going to feel? I mean, how are you going to take it? Just as somebody that likes watching you and listening most of the time, how are you going to take it if he does decrease deficit and all these things that everybody rails against? I mean, are you so against the idea that if it does work out that you would just say, don't give a fuck, like, or would you actually applaud it when it's all said and done?
I will acknowledge that the deficit has declined. I will think that that's a good thing in declining the deficit. I don't think it's a good thing in terms of the way that they get to decreasing the deficit, because it shifts the burden of taxation from people who are higher income to people who are lower income. So it's because he's replacing a progressive tax structure with a regressive tax structure.
Right. No, I get the basis of the ideas and everything, and Squire kept it very broad, because if I were to get in the weeds with you, you'd fucking mop the floor with me. And I'm sure most people probably thought you mopped the floor with me anyway. But at the end of the day, I enjoy watching. I just thought I'd hop up, and I thought I had one that would be hard to, the numbers were the numbers. So you did a good job, bro.
Yeah, I do want to say I apologize for getting annoyed at you.
No,
I think
it's
you
all
were very
good.
respectful. I do just think that we had a point where we were just not understanding each other.
Sure.
Here's a few things I'd want to do this. If Donald Trump does increase the debt, would you say that you wouldn't support him anymore?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if it comes, but see, the problem is that would have to come after the fact, right? Like I've already given them the space to make most of this short of I'll string a motherfucker up if I find out that he did something to children or all these different things, right? Like I'm not a sycophant or anything like that. I do have a line, but for myself and for a lot of us out here, the line was 4 years. We're going to give you 4 more years. So as long as it is nothing, short of something I think that he should be hung around his fat orange neck for, right? touching kids and doing fucked up things, I'll be totally on the side of that. But he's got the leeway for 4 years. If he fucks it up, it's on us for making that decision, and we'll have to eat it as voters. And the country, we're taking it was a chance. A lot of us out here felt like we took a chance. I'm in Illinois and I'm an independent, so my vote went to Democrats anyway.
Do you acknowledge that Donald Trump specifically did have more debt-related spending under his first administration by $4 trillion?
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah. When you look at the numbers, yes, factually speaking, all these things they are accurate.
So did he already have 4 years?
Sure, but we wiped all that clean. See what reset everything really. That's how else do people that aren't crazy see? You think everybody that votes for, I don't know, I don't mean to say that. Most people think everybody that votes for him is wacky out the end and all of this. Honestly, I think a lot of people, they got pissed off with the all the lawfare stuff, man, and it really reignited the whole thing, and it made people look at somebody that they should never feel like sorry for, and it made the country be able to say, hey, here again, I feel like, look, that's just like they would do to me, dirt to dirt to dirt, and it reignited a thing. And he put a good plan out. I don't want to get into all of it. The way they had to they had to make for the felonies to stick, you had to have 3 different new things and a new novel theory. The jury could pick from one of the 3. It didn't have to be the same one, like just the way it was all done. And the extent they went, the extra fines, the way they rolled it all together at the same time, it just all, whether it was righteous or not, it did not appear righteous, right? The way they did it was very bad. To wait so long and the way they did, it was not good optics.
For the sexual abuse case, it takes decades for many people to come out, right? The idea that you would blame the victim specifically for not coming out right away, I think is ridiculous, especially because for many victims, it takes decades to come out. Well, I mean, that doesn't mean it's political, like, lawfare against him, right? Explain to me why it was only specifically the case that she came out in 2019 if it was political lawfare. Why wouldn't that happen in 2016?
You mean for the sexual assault cases and all of that?
Yes.
Honestly, man, I don't know what trauma does to people. I couldn't begin to, think to myself like how the time thing. I've never worked with victims. I've met some victims in my life that, haphazardly that I've been friends with that, through opening up have told me things. I'm not really in a position that I could make a decision about that. All that I was able to have access to was, one side of the political argument was this, the other side of the political argument was this. Here's the case and the facts that you can go and look up at the courthouse. And then you have all this weird shit. It was just all weird on both sides. Not only like some of his behavior was weird, right, that I don't necessarily condone, but then at the same time, the way they prosecuted him made it seem like it just everything in a not singly one single thing, but everything as a group, it really galvanized the general public, especially people that have no interest in politics other than their civic duty every 4 years. It's not hyper-focused like you. I'm somewhat hyper-focused, and I'm not even that hyper-focused, and I listen to everybody from far left to far right to in the middle. I consume it all.
Do you think that he deserves to be prosecuted?
Prosecuted for what?
For the crimes that he's committed, the felonies, and for the sexual abuse.
In all honesty, what I think that he deserves or doesn't deserve is probably inconsequential. What'll end up happening is the same thing that happened with this $500 million fine. They went too far. They will overturn the New York State court on his 34 felonies as well. Go ahead. I'll answer your question. Ask me. Sorry.
No, you just said it was inconsequential. Could you answer the question instead of just saying it's inconsequential?
Sure. He was in my mind. If he even for the crimes that they said he committed for those 34 felonies in the documentation's case, he's already faced his punishment. More so than what?
Not documentations. It's for felonies for the falsification of business records in the first degree, which is a Class C felony in the state of New York because of predicate crime.
In furtherance of they really had to hobble that one together in order to make it for to try to sway I get it, I understand, but the way they hobbled that together, can we agree that's the first time they ever tried a case like that, and that is called a novel case theory? that they won?
I don't know if it's the first time ever tried, but I do know that it's not likely to be tried a lot because of the nature of how Donald Trump committed the crime, because he was specifically trying to run for president of the United States. So it's just not a common crime to commit because there's not a lot of people running for president of the United States that would be furthering another crime in terms of the falsification of business records. Could you provide me a source, though, that it was the first time?
Could I provide you? I mean, do you want me to slide out of my app and get into the weeds with a? Do you really feel the need to win so badly that you want me to get into the weeds and look silly after I've already admitted that I'm not a good debater and I just, because I could feel the tone of this silly.
I wasn't trying to make you look silly. I was just genuinely curious.
Yeah, no. So the source that it was stated, my source that I used was stated several times across several different media platforms, whether it be CNN, whether it be Fox or MSNBC, that this was a novel theory that was being tested for the first time in the state of New York, the way that they hobbled campaign finance together. In order to get
you just made the claim again,
using a predicate crime.
For it. Would you like to provide a source that it was the first time that it was tried?
Yeah, I provided you my source of where I got the information. It was Fox News, was from Fox, from MSNBC and CNN during all of the live coverage.
Like, give me a title of an article? Like, I'll give you time to go look it up. I'm not trying to make you look silly. I'm just genuinely curious.
I mean, I'm sure if you typed in novel legal theory 34, I mean, you use the internet very well. I'm sure if you want me to swipe out of my phone here to try to finger fuck it around, I could do that. But
go for it real quick and just let me know.
Okay, give me a second.
For sure. In the meantime, thank you so much, Valkyrie. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Thank you. Talia, thank you so much. I really appreciate the $25. Thank you so much for the kind words. Thank you so much, Talia. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Get some W's for Talia in the comment section right now. Thank you so much. Amanda with the $5. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Alrighty. Let me make sure I'm fully caught up on YouTube as well. Give me 1 second, everyone. If you want to support me, as always, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Linktree in the bio, as well as the description of the YouTube, as well as you can support me over YouTube Super Chat, as always. Taro, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $5. Sarah with the $5. Thank you. Happy birthday, Sarah. Happy birthday. Alan, thank you for the $10. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. And Cameron with the $2. Thank you. I think I'm fully caught up there. I think I am fully caught up. As well as K-Wall, thank you so much. Really appreciate the $15 on PayPal. Thank you so much. All right, do give it a second for him to find that information, everyone, and then he should be back. Lakin, thank you so much for appreciate the $10. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Alrighty. Brad, thank you so much for the $1.11. Thank you. For the DNC money, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Alrighty, everyone.
All right, so it's lawfaremedia.org.
Okay, what's the title?
I'll have to back right back out again. It's got a long title. Give me one second.
Fine.
Charting the legal theory behind People v. Trump.
Charting the legal theory what?
Behind Trump, the People v. Trump.
All right, Lawfare Media. And what's where do you see in this?
You'll have to give me a second to go back and search through that. I mean, that's the whole basis, the whole thing. That's my source. That the whole article is about how they used a first time novel legal theory to make this conviction stick.
No. It just originally says that they first brought charges against him.
Okay, well, hold on.
All they did was say that the legal theory was unclear.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me go back and look.
Do give it a second, everyone. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're on TikTok, tap that screen. It'll help get out to more people. Do give it a second. Gene, thank you so much for the $15 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Gene. Can we get some W's for Gene in the comment section right now? Thank you. Do give it a second. How do you debate, Parker? It is on TikTok. There's a set of criteria. If you meet the set of criteria, you can join. I can try to add someone up. In the meantime, everyone. Yo, what's up? How old are you? How old are you? Alrighty, let's go on to the next person. Only send a guest request if you meet that set of criteria listed on the screen, everyone. Alrighty, do give it a second, everyone. Do give it a second. I think there's something Jaden wanted to add real quick. I don't have any guest requests.
Hey, there we go.
Yo, what's up?
Hey, wanted to talk to him about the case here.
Hey, so I did find that was the source that I gave there was the underlined pinning for what the information comes from. The other, so there's an article you can look about it is from The Guardian. And then the title, give me 1 second. Let me see what the title would be. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Is there something you
Trump's
wanted to add?
conviction of all 30 Trump's conviction of all 34 counts is a complete victory for DA Alvin Bragg. And in that article, it discusses how this was the first time a very novel legal theory being tested out for the first time.
Okay, so no, this did not have any new legal practices or theories. The novel aspect lies in the fact that this was now, for the first time, applied to a former president and an election-based legal theory. Not that they had to use laws that previously didn't exist or legal theories. No, this is New York state law. This is how they were able to prosecute him. I think it's Penal Code 17510, felony elevation based on the intent to conceal another crime. As it relates to this particular crime, this is one of many different instances in which people do not have to reach unanimous verdict in order to convict. There's O'Brien v. Texas. There's United States v. Edmonds, 1996. There's State versus Taylor, amongst others.
Sure. So I just got
What?
So I wasn't really trying to have this debate. I don't know enough about, right, to say one way or the other and get into the weeds of this. I'm not informed enough to say. I know a little bit, but I don't know enough to have a debate about this to feel strongly enough one way or the other to give you any kind of an answer that you're going to be looking for.
I'm not looking for an answer. I'm just clarifying your statements here. This is not new legal theory.
I mean, it was... So it's not a novel. I mean, so let me ask
The only
this. Is there
novelty
anything
in
new
this
about
case, yes, the fact that it's a former president, which, as you could imagine, doesn't happen very often that former presidents conceal crimes in furtherance
So
of another
how
crime.
often do you get to choose which of the three underlying crimes actually led to, like, how often do you as a person on a jury get to pick one of three options that it could be in order to achieve the ultimate final crime?
So the jury instructions aligns with cases allowing non-unanimous agreement. And this has happened before. I just gave you a few examples where non-unanimous predicate crimes have still reached a verdict. Now, all of them applied. They did not have to say whether or not it was solely one, just that one happened in furtherance of another crime.
Well, my original statement about this in the first place was just simply that in totality of everything that was going on, all the attacks, all the things that were being said, the way that people were campaigning like Letitia James did, what my statement is, generally speaking, is that the optics weren't good. Whether the truth of that was true or not, whether that was what it really was, and that was the driving factor for a lot of folks, right, that aren't in the weeds, that aren't well informed.
Yeah, people are stupid.
Like
I think
Right.
people,
No, I don't
when
disagree.
it comes to legal matters, people shouldn't be focusing on optics. They should be focusing on evidence, and the evidence was clear. Okay, 34 felony counts tied to invoices, checks, statements that had his name and signature on it.
Bro, 50% of our population is under a 90 of an IQ. So, I mean, where it's a heavy lift, right? So it's a heavy lift at any point in time to, yes, I get it. And that's why I'm against mail-in voting, actually, because you're giving more people left and right that have no business voting the ability to just sign some shit and send it off on some decisions where normally they would have had no clue. They'd have never went nowhere, done nothing. Anyway, I do want to ask, is Tommy okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I don't agree with his politics most of the time, but I have talked to you guys before and been a part of his show, and I hope he's all right. And even though I'm a MAGA person, like, well wishes to him.
Okay, thank you. Did you want to keep talking about these cases, or you pivoted?
No, that wasn't. No, my original thing that I came in for is that the reason
was the
that I
deficit,
support Trump.
right?
Yeah, right.
You said, we owe him a chance. We owe him 4 years. He had 4
Yeah.
years, but you voted for him anyways, even though the deficit increased.
Right.
Is
Yeah, there was
any
COVID and a whole
explanation to
lot
that?
there was a whole lot of
Even
mitigating
prior to
circumstances.
COVID, even prior to COVID, the 3 years prior, the 3 years he had that were not COVID related, had deficit increases year after year.
Yes, but if the economy would have been fully unleashed and never actually
What is going
bogged down, that would have paid itself out.
I said during the 3
climbing
years.
out of my bed. That's what's going on.
Okay, during those 3 years, how was it the case that they were going to be reducing deficits? You just give them an extra year, they would have kept going up.
Not if the pandemic wouldn't have hit. I mean, I think it was all circumstantial.
Yes.
Things happen.
So you're saying that 2020 would have offset the 3 years of deficit increases?
No, I'm saying that I'm not well versed enough in any of this to have an informed debate that would inform anybody out there other than to make me look like another dunked on person during semantics through a conversation that we'll have.
It's not semantics.
You know.
You guys
Well,
throw
it's
that
not
word out a
semantics,
lot. I
right?
don't think you know what it means.
Okay. No, all right. I didn't use it appropriately. I'm not going to get lost in the weeds on shit that I shouldn't be speaking on to make an informed decision like I have a position on it.
Okay, well then
I just
why'd you
bought a
come
new
up?
Earth box for the deficit thing.
Right, but you didn't want to talk
And then
about
I got ragged into. What do you mean I didn't want to talk about it?
it. You just said you don't want to talk about things you're not informed about.
Well, I was informed about the deficit. It's going to go down.
I know. I was
over the next 10
saying,
years.
why did you give him another 4 years if during the previous his deficits were increased?
Well, then ultimately it's a perfect storm. There's a lot of answers to it. You're left with a better of two
Can you
choices
give me one?
situation. Yeah, better of two choices.
How?
How not?
You have
how can
one
you
choice
not,
that
how
increased
can
the
you not
deficit
look at
and another candidate
Kamala
who
Harris
didn't.
and not realize and not understand inherently that when she gets up and speak, she's passionate about one subject, and that's protecting people. And what she did, I appreciate that. She was a DA and did a lot of good things. She was passionate about that. The rest of it was hollow. It was hollow. It was words. She didn't believe in it.
I know, the
She's
way
not
she
a
weaved.
leader. She's not a leader, bro. She don't give off leader vibes. I don't understand what
Dude,
people.
I
get that you
completely-
think that she does.
No, I actually agree with you. I thought it was completely embarrassing and childlike of her to say that she was endorsed
be
by Hannibal
so
Lecter.
state-like
For her
and she was
to, I
the
know,
most
for her to roll out the
overqualified
red
and-
carpet, for her to roll out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin and then have a U.S. factory bomb the next day. That was so fucking embarrassing, wasn't it? For her to tweet out Kofefi at 4 a.m. and then doze off into the sleep. That was so un-leadership-like. I think it's insane that she's going out of her way to target Rosie O'Donnell and saying that she wants to denaturalize her. Don't you agree? Papa, are you there? Papa, can you
I am
hear
here.
me?
Yeah,
There you are.
I am here.
I demute him.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, the budget's going to be reduced by $4 trillion over the next 10 years.
just ignore everything I said, right?
No, not at all. You ignored.
Yeah.
I
No,
said.
no.
what
I
did you
addressed
say to
everything you
me?
said.
How did you address the $4 trillion to the deficit? Address
Oh my God,
That's
that
the
was
only
how
thing I
we
said.
got to the subject of Harris, because I said
Not-
the deficits increased, and you said, well, it comes down to the candidates at the end of the day, and that Harris wasn't a
I'm talking
leader.
about
So I
today
gave you all
right
that.
now with the new
I know. I'm
president.
giving you shit that Donald Trump is saying today and doing today,
Okay.
and you're saying that's still better than Harris.
Yes.
Okay,
According to the
then
CBO.
conversation about the deficit is irrelevant because you pivoted to this shit.
Okay. Well, so who what are you wanting from me, Jaden, right now?
I just want to know how any of this shit that comes out of his mouth and the policies that have harmed people, the policies that previously harmed people, how is any of this justifiable? Indeed.
No, it's just that it always comes back to positions of emotion because the arguments always become somewhat in nature emotional with some factual things behind it. And it's just like when you get to down to the emotional things and you start to say these things, it just makes it very difficult to have progress one way or the other. I would do better if I was more knowledgeable, right, to be able to fend off what's happening. I'm just not knowledgeable enough in debate or stuff like that in order to do that. So,
Well, then, are you here to learn? Are you here to converse? What are you here to do?
No, I was just here to. Originally, I was going to pop on for 3 minutes and say,
Okay.
"Hey,
About your original point, that only applies, and the CBO specifies this, if there are no policy changes over the next few years, which is feasibly impossible.
Sure.
He's already gone back on the tariff rates multiple times, so they're saying that the current rates right now would be deficit reducing. If he reverses those, of course that revenue is not going to exist.
All right, so I mean, which world are we living in? The worlds of what ifs, or the world of what's happening right now?
Well, that's exactly what the article is a big what if. It doesn't say that definitely deficits will be reduced to that. It says it could be. In fact, that's the header of it.
No.
Yeah.
So
like,
I mean,
wait,
so it could be.
Wait. So do you think that Donald Trump is going to keep in place these? Wait. Do you think that Donald Trump will keep in place all of these tariffs?
When you say keep them in place, what do you mean? Exactly how they are? Do you mean percentage change?
Yes.
The same percentage, yeah.
Exactly how they are? I mean, that would be silly of him, since his main goal is to use them primarily to force the hand of manufacturing
so
back.
Why would it be silly if it's deficit
by 4 trillion? Yeah. So you're not sure that it's going to be 4 trillion. You actually think it's likely to be less than 4 trillion, right?
I think it's silly if you. Okay, I think it would be silly if you were trying to, let's say, for instance, a car market, right? And the car market, you wanted to set them at a solid 15% in Japan, whatever that number is. Right, that's what the import would be. Well, they're going to pay, let's just say, for instance, 15% in Japan as well. So now there's a 30% total on the company between that and tariffs. Or if you come over and you make in America, you get a flat 15%. So for in instance of those tariffs, I believe they only work long term. Now, are there tariffs out there that could be changed that are used for negotiating, say, wars or different things to put pressure that are going to? Yeah, those are much more malleable. I absolutely believe there's some strong tariffs that should be put in place for a moral.
Oh,
you cut out. Hello? Oh, looks like he completely cut out.
All right.
Bro, I'm just getting flags for no reason.
Dude, me too. And it's stuff that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I just got one for harassment and bullying. That's my and like the I got the same one earlier, and I'm like, dude, what was even happening?
Nothing.
Like literally nothing was happening. So I'll have to.
I had no guest yesterday. I sat for 2 hours and I got flagged.
What? That's crazy. By the way, the guy just left. So, yeah, I'm gonna hit a quick restart. I appreciate you coming up, Jaden. Thank you, man. I appreciate that guy was crazy. Like I feel like he just kept going back to the what's it called, the budget deficit every single time we critiqued his position.
And then pivoting from it. Yeah.
And then
you gonna do solos?
It was just tariffs. Yeah, I think I probably will for a bit. All
right, no problem. See you around.
Appreciate you. All right, everyone. I'll be right back. I'm gonna hit a quick restart. TikTok is experiencing plenty of issues. Santana says it's the updates they are doing to TikTok, even though the change in the layout is glitching. Yeah, I don't know. There's been just so many issues. I actually do have a few people to say thank you to. Randy with the $50 on Venmo. Thank you so much, Randy. I really appreciate it. Give me some W's for Randy in the comment section right now. Thank you so much, Randy. I really appreciate it. Kay, thank you for the $15. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to hit a quick restart here real quick, everyone. I'll be right back for the 3.1 thousand people here on TikTok. Come right back. I would recommend to go over to YouTube so you don't have to deal with any of these restarts. I love y'all so